is a quite special meeting also for us, for NAVIC, because we are used to organizing kick-off meetings for the projects we select and we approve, but it is always bilateral. Normally we have only one project, and then we are used to having these meetings in the office, and mostly it is only with the Dutch partners. And I think having this online meeting with both Dutch and Southern partners is a small advantage that we have got with the COVID-19 crisis. That we're all more equal now, and we can participate equally in these online meetings. And then having 10 projects starting at the same time in one regional program also is an opportunity for us to organize and have you all together in this meeting in order to have a joint starting point and to learn from each other, to get to know each other, and to look for synergy and collaboration where possible. So this is the reason why we organize this meeting the way we do it. I will start with a presentation of my colleagues, Elzine. Elzine, maybe you can say something so people see you. Elzine and I, we are responsible for the Ethiopia and Horn and Africa portfolios of the Orange Knowledge Program. So you saw Elzine. And then we have, I hope we have Sophie Primo, who is responsible for the TMT modality. Sophie, are you there?
Yes, hello, I'm there. Hi everyone.
Hi, Sophie. Thank you for coming. And then last but not least from the NAVIC organization is Kim van Waaienburg. She is our communication advisor. And well, she will explain everything about communication and visualization of the Orange Knowledge Program at the end of the program. But here she is. The objectives of the meeting. Well, I will now start sharing my my presentation, and then I will put out my camera, and I will invite you all to do that. But before I do that, I want to present also and a very warm welcome to Hashi from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, who is responsible for the IGG program, Inclusive Green Growth, and who is like the father of this regional program. After my short introduction and the welcome, I will give the word to Hashi. But Hashi, maybe you can say something so people know who you are and see you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Hash Abdullahi. I'm really pleased and I really appreciate I could be part of this meeting. As Jolie just mentioned, I work for the Dutch Foreign Ministry, Department of IGG, Inclusive Green Growth, and within that department, Food and Nutrition Security. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hashi. I will now try to share my screen so you can see the presentation we prepared, and then I will put out my my camera. I hope this part will work. Is this clear?
Yes.
Do you see the presentation? Okay, thank you very much. Then maybe only to repeat the instructions we sent beforehand, because this is a large group of people. We'd like to ask you to do any questions, put any questions in the chat, so there will not be a lot of noise going out, and to mute your mic. If there's something you really want to share with the group, then you can raise your hand, and then we will give you the word. Elsine and I will try to moderate this meeting as good as possible. And so while I will be talking, Elsine will look at questions in the chat and will answer them where possible, and vice versa. I think this is it for all. We're now 36 people, which I think is a good number of people for 40 projects, for 10 projects, sorry. And I will go to the next slide, and I will put out my my mic. I invite you also to put out your mic. It is a little bit boring because we won't see anyone, but it is much better for people who are having a weak connection.
You mean the camera, right, Jolie?
Sorry.
Both the camera and mic.
You're right. I mean the camera, because that is of important for the connection, and the mic is not to disturb the meeting. Thank you, Elsine. So as you saw in the agenda and in the invitation, I sent you the objectives of this meeting is to provide information about the program. This is what we always do with the kickoff meetings, because the Orange Knowledge program is quite special and sometimes a little bit complicated with what you can do, what you can't do, how reporting is arranged, which obligations and conditions are linked to the program. So this is maybe a little bit boring but very important part of providing information from our side. But also, and it is, as I said, it is quite special. It is an opportunity to be all together, to present partners, organizations, and projects, and to start exchange and to promote coordination, synergy, and alignment. And I think that is a very important objective of this meeting, and I really hope we will be able to achieve this this objective. So as you saw the program, I will repeat it very shortly. The agenda, I will look through it with you. First, Hashi from the ministry will give a short introduction to the regional program and the importance of the collaboration in the Horn of Africa for this program and for the ministry. Then Elsine will tell something about the Orange Knowledge Program, roles, obligations, and conditions. And we try to be very specific, because this is, yeah, of course, it is important for you now. The projects are starting to know what is expected of everyone. I will continue then to tell something about monitoring and evaluation, the theory of change, and the reporting tool that is called ACFO. After that, I hope we will be able to have a break, because, well, people will need a short time to recover from all that information. And then on 10:15, so in an hour from now, we hope to continue with what I hope will be the most interesting parts, integration, alignment, and synergy, in which you will be able to shortly mention the aspects you think that is most important for to share and to look for collaboration with the other projects. And then last but not least, our colleague Kim will explain everything about communication visibility within the Orange Knowledge program. And then before we close the meeting at 11:30, of course, there is any other business, something you would like to share. As I said, any questions in the meantime in the, via the chat, or raise your hand if there's something you really think you should share with the group. Then, if there are no questions for now, I would like to give the word to Elzine.
To me? To
Oh, sorry.
to Hashi.
Yeah, that starts good. Yeah, you're right. Hashi, I'm very sorry. I would like to give you the word.
Thank you very much, Julie. Thank you very much, everybody who's participating in this meeting, and also thank you very much, Nuffic, for giving us the opportunity to meet, to kick up this program of Horn of Africa. As I said, my name is Hash Abdullahi. I'm from Dutch Foreign Ministry. I'm in a position of policy coordinator. Food and nutrition security and capacity building is one of the themes that I have within my role. Just to go back one or two years, when we were thinking about this program, and especially the Horn of Africa component of it, as you all know, Horn of Africa is one of the focus regions of the ministry. It is Horn of Africa, Sahel, and the Middle East. So we were thinking, how could we translate our policy on the ground, and also how could we bring the POS nota, the perspectives aspects within the region, and how could capacity building programs such as the OKP provide the assistance needed to achieve our goals. One of the most important things were, when we were thinking about this project, and also in collaboration with Nuffic, was what is needed there. As you know, we from the Food and Nutrition Security, we are the only thematic department that's putting its own money in this program, Nuffic. It is a broad program from the ministry. Several departments take part of it, but we are the only one putting their own money within the program. Why we do is because we think that skills and the capacity building within the agriculture sector are very important. And we do this within this program because we do not want to start our own programs fragmentally with everywhere. We thought that would be very wise to do it through Nuffic, through an existing program, through an existing systematic. On the other hand, we hope that we will achieve our goals within the program. That is why we work closely with Nuffic to collaborate and also to design some ideas. And this is one of them. Having a regional program is what we thought it would be good, and that's what we did. It's also very important to mention that the OKP has just had a midterm review. That's very important you to know, because we are also looking at what has happened the past 2.5 years, 3 years almost, and what we are expecting as being a thematic department from the OKP for the coming 2 years, 2.5 years. And you will be surely feel the difference between the past and the coming period. I think the colleagues from Nuffic will explain to you what their expectations will be. But from the perspective of the ministry, we are looking really forward to see OKP evolving, being a program that delivers. That's why we are also spending so much time together with Nuffic and also exploring the opportunities that this program can offer. One of the important things that we from the ministry expect from you as implementing partners are, please, what we would like to see is a synergy with our own ongoing programs in the countries that you will be being actively. For example, if you're doing a program in South Sudan, we do have a big food and nutrition program food security and nutrition program in South Sudan, what we would be keen to see is how would you be collaborating with those programs and bringing your expertise and your activities aligned with the objectives of those programs. That's also why we mentioned when we were setting out the call, the FNS Food and Nutrition Security Resilience Program that we have in the region. It's also very important that you really have specific attention to strengthen the capacity of the local institutions. We really look this forward, and we are expecting from you that you will have a you will emphasize to strengthen the local capacity, that those institutions are the one who will be delivering the knowledge and the skills needed for the people in this country. So please, that's also a very important issue that we'll be looking at when you that we'll be expecting from you when you're implementing this program. Third point is the South cooperation. This program is designed in a way that there is a cooperation, South cooperation with North, with the Netherlands, and between the countries in the region. That's also a very important aspect for us, and that we'll be watching the way you do that. It's very important that you look at that also, how the South knowledge institutions will be working together, and how they will be delivering to this program, so that the goals that we all look forward are achieved. Those are really the words I wanted to say in this program, and just to share with you the way we think within the ministry of the policy when we are implementing policy, when we are trying to translate what we think on the ground, and you are the implementing partners who are our partners who could realize that. So I'm really looking forward working together with NUFIC and also with other partners in the region to achieve these goals. Thank you very much for having me here.
Thank you very much, Hashi. And thank you for being here and for making this possible. I think that is very important. I do not see any questions in the chat. There was one comment that the PowerPoint presentation is not visible to all, so I would like to check whether now it is. Are there people experiencing problems to see the PowerPoint presentation? I don't see any other comments. So I expect that restarting the team app has worked for Clara. So I'm very happy that the PowerPoint presentation is visible. Again, we are recording this meeting, including, of course, the presentation and what is being said. So we will share this afterwards, and it will be possible also for people that cannot see all or cannot participate all or part of the meeting to look at it afterwards. Then, if there are no other questions at this point, I would like to give the word to Elzine, this time to Elzine, and I hope, well, if there are any other questions still for Hashi, then it is always possible to put them in the chat.
Yes, thank you, Jolie. I will give a really short introduction of the program, but I'm sure it's well known to most of you. But just to give a complete picture, as you probably know, the objective of the Orange Knowledge Program is to contribute to a society's sustainable and inclusive development. And we aim to do this by strengthening the skills and knowledge of individuals, groups, and groups of individuals and organizations. The Orange Knowledge Program was kicked off mid-2017 for a period of 5 years and will end in 2022. And it involves 54 countries. and the institutional cooperation projects and tailor-made trainings are 2 of the 4 instruments offered by the program to obtain the objectives. The other 2 are individual scholarships and group trainings, refresher courses and alumni activities. And the program is financed by the Dutch Ministry of Foreign Affairs, as Hashi already told you. At the beginning of the program, a country plan of implementation was made for each of the participating countries, together with the Dutch embassies in those countries. And all activities should contribute to the overall goals of the program, and in particular the country plans. NAVIC awards the OKP grants on behalf of the Minister for Foreign Trade and Development Cooperation. And an explicit objective of the OKP is long-term cooperation between partners and reciprocity. So we expect the project partners to strive for a continued cooperation after the project is finished. And the collaboration should be mutual, benefiting for both partners. So not just the partner, partner in the project country, but also the Dutch partner. The relationship between NAVIC, so the administrative authority providing the grant, in NAVIC in this case, and the subsidy recipient, which is you, is not an equal relationship. The subsidy provider determines the framework, and the subsidy recipient is responsible for the implementation and delivery, and the compliance with the applicable rules and regulations. And in order so we have specific, we have specific rules and regulations that we must adhere to. And this also means that NAVIC, as a subsidy provider, must keep a distance to the content and the implementation of the subsidized activities. So the implementation is the responsibility of the subsidy recipient, and NAVIC monitors, as a subsidy provider, whether the activities for which a subsidy has been granted will take place or has not taken place, and the subsidy recipient, and if the subsidy recipient meets the subsidy obligations. So that is our role, and we do not interfere with specific activities executed by the project partners. Throughout the project period, the project partners are obliged to inform NAVIC immediately as soon as it becomes clear that an output or an outcome for which the grant was awarded will not be achieved, or will not be achieved in time, or if any other grant obligations will not be met, and that should be done in writing. The grant is awarded on the basis of the achievement of the outcomes and output. So NAVIC must approve these changes. We do not monitor on activities, so it's possible to change activities as long as the outputs and the outcomes as they were mentioned in the project proposal are still met. So you don't have to report on changes in activities, but you do have to ask for approval of change in outputs and outcomes. The grant obligations and conditions form part of the grant award for grant recipients, and they provide the obligations that apply to the grant. By submitting a grant request, the applicant accepts these grant conditions and obligations. So it's very important to take note of the content of the grant obligations and conditions, as it provides essential information about grant management, eligibility of costs, and auditing. And it's even so that NAVIC can withdraw or amend grants if part of the obligations or conditions are not met. So it's very important to read those and be aware of the information mentioned in the documents. The grant obligations and conditions for ICPs and TMT Plus do not differ a lot. Only deviations. So there are 2 points actually where there is a slight difference, and that's the deviations between lines in the budget. So you can deviate from the budget with a certain percentage without approval, and that's up to 25% for TMT plus, and up to 20% for ICP. So any deviation within the budget lines of more than 25 for ICP and more than 25 for TMT plus and more than 20% for ICP must be requested. And for TMT plus, it's possible to use 10% of the budget for investments, whereas in ICP, it is possible to use 20% of the budget for investments. So that are the main differences between the grant conditions and obligations of ICP and TMT plus. Yeah, the COVID-19 pandemic has had some impact on the project and project proposals, so, for instance, seen that because of the fact that not all partners will be able to travel, it is possible to reallocate, for instance, travel budget, or to change or temporarily appoint new experts or project members. So you are free to rearrange the budget if you deem necessary, up to a deviation of 25% between the budget lines without prior approval from NAVIC. And change of experts is also possible as long as the replacement is at least equally qualified and not more. So the budgets should remain the same. So the experts will not be able to charge more than was originally submitted for the original expert. And any changes in experts or changes in project members must have approval from both the lead partner and the other project. So the lead implementer and the lead project partner. So they must give approval for the change, and then it should be submitted to NAVIC, which also needs to approve the change. I think that is more or less what I had to say about this slide. Did I miss anything, Jolie?
Thank you very much, Eltine. I think it was very, very clear for everyone. I don't see questions in the chat.
I do see a hand raised.
Yes, you see a hand raised. One thing I would like to add to the last point, and then I will give the word to Mr. or Ms. de Carvalho, about the changes in expert and organization. As you rightly said, that it should be a joint decision of the project consortium, and then it should be submitted to NAVIC. But this is only in the case of replacement of expert and organizations that were originally part of the proposal and that were part of the assessment. If you need extra experts, or you want to add another organization to the implementation because it is felt necessary, and it can be because of COVID, but of course it can be because of any other reason, then the applicant is free to do that. Of course, you have to inform NAVIC in the annual reporting. But if it's no replacements, then it is not necessary to ask for approval beforehand. I don't see any hand anymore, so maybe this was the point. The question of the Carvalho. Now I see a question of Dr. Essa of the University of Burao. So please go ahead. Dr. Essa.
Maybe you have to unmute your mic.
So maybe then to start with Carvalho de Sousa.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Jolie. It's Flavia, Miss Flavia. Thank you.
Sorry.
No problem. I know it's not written. No, just because when Elzine was saying that in the case of change of experts, it must be approved by the lead partner and someone else, and I didn't get who else needs to be approved by.
So it needs to be approved by both the lead organization and the lead partner.
Okay. And just a question to the whole team. I cannot write a chat. I don't know if everybody else is experiencing this problem, but I don't have the chat feature in mind. That's why I hit the rent to ask orally, just to inform that. I don't know if it's only my problem.
No, it's also the
I'm
same
having
here.
the same problem. I don't
Me
have
too,
that
the
chat.
same.
Oh, that's why it's so quiet in the chats. And then if you try the chat on the left side, in the left side column, there's also a way to enter into the chat. I'm happy that Stella can chat at least. So it's not
Jolie, that is not possible. The chat function for not everybody, because we are in different capacities within this meeting, and therefore the chat is not available to everybody.
Yeah, that is a pity. Then we have to do it through raising hands. So those that can chat, please chat. And if you can't chat, just raise your hand and we'll do it like that. No problem.
Dr. Essa still has a hand raised. Do you still have a question? And if so, could you unmute your microphone?
Are you hearing?
Yes, yes. We hear you now.
I'm asking, when it comes to the chain of command, is there a middle office that handles the information, or is it directly from the partner to the headquarters? Hello?
Yeah, sorry. So your question is there a main partner which they can only communicate to NAFIC?
I mean, for the communication, is there an intermediate office somewhere between the partners and the headquarters?
No, there's no intermediate between partners and at NAFIC. Well, but I think it's best. But Jolie, maybe you can.
Yeah, of course. So if I understand the question rightly, there is no local office of NAFIC in the countries. So communication with NAFIC is directly like we're doing now. And of course, this is only if it is necessary. As Elzine explained, you are responsible for implementing the project. So just go ahead, and as I will explain later on, the reporting requirements will be annually. Maybe just to finish, what is very important is that there are embassies of the Netherlands in almost countries we're dealing with, except for Somalia, and Somalia is dependent of the Dutch embassy in Nairobi. And of course, as this program is being part of the Dutch Development Cooperation, the Dutch embassies are very important also to take into account during visits, or if things are going on in the projects. But this is more from the side of the ministry, of course. And as Elzine explained, NAFIC is responsible for the external monitoring of these projects. So then communication would be directly from the project implementers with Elzine and myself. So does this answer your question?
Thanks. Yes, I get it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Another question from Grippa Thijs. Sorry if I do not have the right names.
No, it's correct. Thanks. Just a question related to the COVID situation and the adaptation on the project program we planned initially. Would it be possible to make to change the partition of the budget between the training part and all the budget related to the transportation and accommodation of South participants? I'm wondering, for example, if we have to switch a part of the project into distance teaching, distance learning, we will save money on accommodation in Europe for at some point, and this money could be reinjected to be able to hire one coordinator on the local country in the south. Will it be possible, and would it require an authorization from NFIC or not? Hello?
Yes.
Can I answer, Jolie?
Yeah, sure.
Sylvia. Yes?
Yeah.
So as Sin explained, you without prior approval, we have the same objective. Our objective is that you reach as much as the outputs and outcomes as you promised in the project proposal, and therefore you have quite some freedom already that's provided by the grant obligation and conditions. If you're talking about TMT Plus, you can move within lines of the budget, and I will come, I see a question in the chat, I will come to definition later. You can switch within the lines of the budget if you see it necessary to achieve the outputs up to 5 and 25%. And this is without prior approval from NFIC. So if you will spend less on the tickets, then you can use it to recruit a local. Does it answer your question?
Yeah, yes, I think so. Thank you.
Okay. And then there's in the chat, there's a question about what is the definition of a budget line. So if I look at the budget, I'm talking for the TMT Plus. The budget line, you have like the smallest level is I don't want to enter too much into detail, but you have 1, 2A, 2B, 2C. These are the budget lines. So I hope it answers the question. That was all for my part. Thank you.
Are there any other questions on this part of the presentation? Of course, as has been said, any other questions you may have, you can always approach Elzine or myself. And maybe this is something I should have said in the when I did the presentation. We have a financial colleague, Arie van Dijk, who could not be in this meeting. But if financial issues or questions become very specific, then of course we can discuss with him. And if you have later on during the project implementation, you have any questions, then our colleague Arie will be involved and will answer your questions if necessary. So if there are no further questions now, I see a question in the chat. If we spend less on tickets, can this budget line be reallocated to additional hardware or software? This is a very good question. Sorry, Elzine, I'm already answering. Because we have a maximum percentage for investments. So the liberty we have, as has been explained, to vary between budget lines within those percentages, as has been said, is in the case of investments limited because there is a maximum. So that goes for TMT a maximum of 10% for investments, and in the case of ICP projects, it's 20% limitation. I'm not very sure because I know the projects that were running and that got confronted with COVID-19, there was some flexibility there because it was considered like an urgent situation. So I'm not very sure, but it might be that in case of adaptation because of COVID, you really need to do more investment in hardware or software. Then it could be there could be an exception to this rule, but I have to be very careful with exceptions. But that is something that that has been applied on the current projects that are running now. If you have very specific questions, then please just send an email to Alzine and myself, and we can answer that. Sophie, there's another question about budget lines. So maybe you can, this is really something that is complicated, so maybe you can explain one more time and then we continue, I think.
Yes, of course, no problem. So for the TMT, it's 25%. Oh yeah, I understand the question. Good question. It's 25% from the initial budget line. Yes, so that's the answer.
Yes, are all questions at this point answered? And then we'll, Miss Flavia raises her hand, so please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. No, because now I got confused because I thought, for example, the 25%, it was the overall budget. Let's say if you have a 500K of total budget, then up to 25%, you can shift in between. But then if I understood correctly from what Sophie said, it's from the budget line. So if I have, let's say 100K for travel, let's say, then I can shift up to 25% of budget travel to other budget line. Is that the last?
Yes, that's the last, and I will check today again, and we will let you. I will confirm or infirm this in the. I guess Julie will send a few points as minutes later on. I will be confirmed in writing.
Yeah, that seems a good idea. So we will work this out, and we will let you know as one of the results of this meeting, to be really clear on this flexibility and on what is a budget line and how does it work in practice. So we will come back to this later. Maybe this was one of the specific financial questions we really need Ari to be present.
Yes, can I add something, Julie?
Of course.
Because there was a question about the possibility to use extra additional hardware or software, and it was we sent to the ongoing projects. We sent the end of April a letter with some leniency measures on the existing grant obligation and condition, and this is one of them. If this is necessary to use the contingency in the framework of COVID, and if by doing so you exceed the 20% of limit of investment, this is possible. So we can maybe send also the letter around for that is for institutional cooperation.
Okay, thank you very much. That I mentioned it, but I was not sure whether it was also for new projects, but it is logical because the budgets have been elaborated without really knowing the impacts of the COVID crisis, and we still do not know. So this is it is a good idea to send the letter with the leniency rules also for this for these projects. I will do that. And then we continue this letter. Yeah, this letter of April 30th. I guess that this is the leniency letter, and it is logical that it is also applicable for these projects because they are also they were not able to take into account the complete impact of the COVID crisis. I noticed that some proposals did mention COVID, but others were already developed before, well, the COVID crisis. We all got aware about the impact of the COVID crisis. So yes, this letter is also applicable, and as Sophie said, we will send it also to you as part of the results of this meeting. No further questions, and then I think it's my turn now to talk about monitoring and evaluation. What I would like to mention a few aspects, yes. Impact reporting. I think you saw it, especially the ICP projects. They know that they do not only have to report annually on the progress of the project, but they also will report ex-post projects, so 1, 3, and 5 years after the end of the project. For the TMT plus projects, this is this ex-post reporting is more limited until 1 year after the end of the project, but the principle is the same. We asked you in your application to indicate what you would expect to be the impact of your project, so not just the outputs and the outcomes that will be delivered at the end of the project, but also on the medium term, what will be the impact of what has been the effect of your project in a wider context in which the organizations are working. And it's not only that we ask you to mention this specifically in your application, but we also ask you to report upon it. And the reason we do this is because for our kind of projects, it is quite complicated to show impact. Of course, we can always say, well, we trained staff, people of or educational organizations or other key organizations in the countries we work, but the effect of this training and the strengthening of education and capacity development is always indirect, and sometimes it is difficult to show the importance of these kind of programs if you can't show the impact this capacity strengthening is having on the medium or even longer term. So it is important for acceptance of development cooperation to show not only numbers of students and numbers of staff being trained, but also to show in the indirect effects in society. And that is something that is important for us, for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, that is paying the budget, Dutch taxpayers who in the end have to pay for the Dutch Development Cooperation budget, but it is also important for yourself, the implementing organization, to show what you are achieving, not only on the short run, but also on the medium and long run. And that's why we develop a theory of change that shows how we think that this program is contributing to the medium and long term. And we developed a result framework to help us. And now we'll come to that now. This is our theory of change. And it may look a little bit complicated, but it is something I'm really proud of. If you look at it, if you give it a close look, what I think is important, and I hope you can see good enough at your screens, that on the top of this visualization you see inclusive sustainable development, which is the longer term objective of the Dutch development cooperation. And I already mentioned it. We consider the Orange Knowledge Program an instrument to achieve the objectives of the Dutch development cooperation. And this is, of course, the objectives of the Dutch development cooperations are developed by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Sustainable development goals, of course, they are very important. They are part of this inclusive sustainable development. And you can see there in the just below the 4 themes in which the Dutch Development Cooperation wants to focus: food and nutrition security, sexual and reproductive health and rights, security, the rule of law, and water. Those are the 4 focus areas of the Dutch Development Cooperation. For this regional program, we picked 2 of them. As you know, we focus on food and nutrition security and security and the rule of law, and even where possible crossovers between these themes. So this means that this regional program in the Horn of Africa, we want to, in the end, we want to have strengthened key organizations in those 2 focus areas: food and nutrition security and security and the rule of law. And you can see just below the blue block saying that these key organizations for these teams, in the end we want to strengthen them with the results of what our projects are doing here in the lower part of the theory of change. So if we go to the below part, and you can see the instruments we are using, sorry for that, the tailor-made trainings, the scholarships, and the institutional interventions, the collaboration projects. Directly, we strengthen educational institutions and other organizations. You are all there, so that's the target organizations of our activities, of the inputs, the modalities we apply in this region. We strengthen these organizations again, sorry. And through strengthening these organizations, either directly through the TMT collaboration with professional organizations, we strengthen the key organization, or indirectly through strengthening educational institutions who produce graduates that indirectly at the end will be working at those same key organizations. This is our theory how the Orange Knowledge Program will make change happen. Here in the middle, you see the intermediate objective of sustainable partnerships between persons and organizations, which is a goal in itself, and it's also a means to achieve this strengthened organization and the production of graduates and trained staff working in key organizations. I hope this is clear for you, because this explains why we not only look at a short time. Here you see the A objective, which is oriented towards institutional collaboration projects, strengthening educational institutions. And here to the left, you see the B objective, the tailor-made training and the individual scholarships, which are aiming directly at professional organizations. But we also aim at, as I explained before, the medium-term effects. And you all know, because you developed an application, you filled in the logical framework, and you mentioned which indicators will be measuring in the end whether you have achieved what you planned or not. So I will very shortly repeat it here. These are the medium term and the short term outcomes I just mentioned. So this was also in the sheet I showed before. And behind all these objectives, short term, medium and long term, are indicators. And as you know, the thematic indicators are just copied from the result framework from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. As I said, what we want to achieve is what Ministry of Foreign Affairs developed as objectives. So we did not invent our own thematic indicators for food and nutrition security, nor for security and the rule of law, but we just picked them from the result framework of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and we asked you to indicate in the medium short term which indicators you expect to achieve. And then, of course, we also have our capacity development related indicators, which are very much oriented towards strengthening capacity strengthening, strengthening educational institution, partnerships between persons and organizations, and also strengthening professional organizations and key organizations on the medium term, and of course on the short term as well. You know this because this is part of your application, and in the monitoring and in your reporting, we'll ask you to come back to what you have planned, and then you will be asked to report on how you are achieving these expected results. And as Kim explains, we really try to make this theory, our theory of change, more accessible and more visible. So there will be a video, an animation video, and there will also be more accessible information on our website explaining this theory of change and monitoring and evaluation framework. This all will be applied in our monitoring tool. You might have heard of it, and those of you that are already implementing Orange Knowledge projects or trainings have heard already of our monitoring and reporting tool, which is called ACFO RSR, and RSR means really simple reporting. It's user-friendly for the implementers. What is very positive about it is that each project has a page of its own, and well, we sent you already the link to ACFO RSR. It's also here on this slide, so we invite you, if you have not done it already, just go to the ACFO RSR web page, where you can see all projects that are part of the that are making use of this tool, and you can easily filter on organization, for example, on NAFIC, and then you can see all NAFIC projects. But you can also filter on countries, and then you will see in the country where you are implementing, you can see other projects that are being implemented, NAFIC projects, and other funded projects. And this, we hope, will help also to find other projects that are in the same field. It will contribute to collaboration and to coordination, and it will also make possible that you will be found as a project. That is one important advantage of the monitoring tool. And another one is that it will, for us, it will be an easy tool to aggregate the indicators in order to report towards, of course, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but also to you all, to indicate overall what are the achievements of the Orange Knowledge Program in terms of, for example, institutions strengthened, staff trained, curricula developed at on which level. A last element, which is for us important, is that it is IATI proof, and I'm not sure whether you are aware of IATI. It's the International AIDS Transparency Initiative, and it means that on a worldwide basis, all development cooperation becomes transparent and visible. And well, we think it is very important. Our ministry thinks it's important, and for us it is mandatory. And this will be easily done through this ACFO RSR system. I will come back to the specific questions on ACFO. I will just shortly show what is possible with ACFO. As I said, project overview per country. We also have a project summary of each project, but there is also an Orange Knowledge Program project site at the ACFO RSR system, where you can find, as you can see, the summary of the Orange Knowledge Program, all the details of the budget, objectives, and progress. This will also be available for your project when it will be part of the ACFO RSR. It is not yet, but it will be. And then what you will be able to do, and we will invite you to do, is frequently do project updates. It's called project updating, which means that you can post short messages, photos, pictures, in order to share the progress of your project with the world. You can see here an example of the Orange Knowledge Program. So this is done by us, but on project level, of course, it should be done by you. This is, of course, up to you what you want to share, but we really invite you. And Kim will explain later the importance of sharing and visualizing milestones and activities of the program. Once a year, you will be invited to report on results, and this is we come back to the indicators which are part of the monitoring evaluation framework, which was part of your application, that will be inserted into the into the system. And then once a year, after a year of implementation, you will be invited by us to enter the result reporting modality, and then to indicate if what you planned has been achieved. If not, why not? And also other qualitative information about these achievements. The details of this project reporting, result reporting, you will hear when you will be invited to report. So this will be after a year. It is not on short notice. What we saw until now is what everyone can see. So everyone can see the what you share on this project site. Behind the scenes, there of course it looks different, and then you can easily make reports in Word and in Excel. And of course, when you have to do your annual reporting, then this will be what you will be seeing. Here it will indicate how many indicators need reporting on the basis of your application. Pending approval is being done by NUFIC, and if we have approved your reporting, then you will see here the number of approved activities. I think this is it for ACFO. So maybe there are some specific questions. I did not have the time to look into the chat, so I will ask Elzine if there's something I have to respond now or.
Well, yes, there have been 2 questions about reporting, about the access to ACFO, for instance. The question was from Suzanne from MDF. For ACFO RSR, we need to register, right? One shared login per project, or can we have multiple logins for one project? And I've responded, but please, Jolie, if you have additional information, please speak up. I've said NUFIC will give you access to your project. Multiple project members can get access. In fact, we expect both the Dutch and the local partners to contribute to the reporting in ACFO.
Yes, that is right. It is very important. So of course, this is joint reporting, and what we will do is we will put up the project in ACFO. So we will do the translation from the application into the project site, and then we will, of course, we will ask you to indicate who you want to give access. And I would, of course, one person from your organization, one from the partner organization, and then we will give access, and that will mean that you get an invitation. So you do not have to take any action now, but only if you get an invitation, you have to respond. And if you have already projects in ACFO and you already have an account, then this stays the same, but we will extend the projects that you will have access to with those new projects.
Yeah, and then there was a second question about reporting from Ms. Amani. Is there a plan to do a research write-up with the collected data? And their information that you put in ACFO, we will also use for our reporting to, for instance, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Yeah, Jolien, do you have anything to add to that?
What was I didn't see the question.
Sorry, the question was, is there a plan to do a research write-up with the collected data?
Okay, yeah, that is a good question. We, of course, our monitoring role means that we have to look whether projects come up to the expectations, and the Orange Knowledge Program comes up to the expectations. So we use it as a monitoring tool. It gives us information about the progress of the projects. And then, of course, it can also be used as input for evaluations or, well, any other interesting question that can be asked. What happens sometimes is that Dutch Parliament questions arise to the Ministry of Development Cooperation, and then we have to look into our systems to find the data, for example, on how many teachers are being trained in food and nutrition security, to give an example. So this tool will give us this information when asked.
Yeah, and then there is another question which does not concern the the reporting, but it's about the salary for country A management. So the question is from Mr. Vassal.
Okay, I think we will come back to that question because it's not really up to this
Mhm.
this point in the agenda, and we're already getting out of time.
Okay.
I really would like to give us a small break in order to to prepare for the second part of the meeting, and I will look at the question and maybe we can respond in the chat.
In the chat, yeah.
Otherwise we will come back to it. But I do not want to enter into details of the former agenda points because I would like to continue with the program. And again, any questions, please put them in the chat and we will come back to them. If it is not possible during this meeting, then we will come back to them after this meeting. We will look carefully to all the questions in the chat. And of course, also if questions arise after this meeting, then you're always welcome to approach Elzine and myself. And if questions are important to be shared with everyone, we will do so.
And we have one hand raised. I think it's Miss Vitasinia. I'm not sure if your question has been answered in the meantime, but if you...
Yeah, I will type it into the chat. It's fine.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Then I still want to give us a small break of 5 minutes and come back 20 past 10 for what I would call the second part of the meeting, in which we really want to hear from you. And as I explained yesterday in the final, when I sent out the final agenda, time is short. We have 10 programs, 10 projects, and we have, well, then maybe 40 minutes for this part of the meeting. So we will show the sheet of the projects, and then we will invite one person of the project team to shortly, within 3-4 minutes maximum, explain where you see collaboration opportunities with the other projects. So not explain again what your project is about. We can see it in the sheet, but please come to the point about coordination, integration within this regional program. A short break, and then we will be back in 4 or 5 minutes. Is that okay? Do you agree? I take this as an agreement. We'll be back. See you in 4 minutes, 20 past 10. Thank you. So that was a short break. I'm not sure whether everyone is back. And we can continue. I don't want to lose too much time either.
I think we can continue.
Okay, thank you, Alcine. So this is the part, well, I keep on saying the most interesting part, but that is because the rules and regulations, obligations and conditions really do not sound that interesting, although of course they are important as well. But when we talk about integration, alignment and synergy, this is really at the heart of our Orange Knowledge program. Maybe you know that we as NAFIC, we are implementing capacity strengthening programs, scholarship programs, more than 50 years already. And we always try to improve the setup of the programs in order to have more impact and have more effect, of course, of what we are doing. The Orange Knowledge program, which is really different from the former programs, the predecessors, is that we try to integrate various instruments. So the individual scholarships, the tailor-made trainings, and the institutional collaboration projects, and also alumni activities. We try to implement them not in a separate, isolated way, but we want to have them strengthening each other. And that is something that was quite new for the Orange Knowledge program. And I think we are slowly advancing and achieving integration. This regional program provides an opportunity even more to have this integration between projects and modalities. We already saw it in many of the applications where clearly was indicated how this individual project will align with other programs, other projects. The FNS REPRO program has been mentioned in most of the applications that were at least on food and nutrition security. But also between these 10 new projects that we are launching now, it would be very good and very positive if we could really show integration and synergy, and at the least do not show any double work. And of course, as I said in the list, we really want to promote synergy and alignment. So what you're seeing here, this picture is not what I wanted to show you, because I really wanted to show you a picture with the 10 projects, even all organizations involved, 14 Dutch partners, 18 target organizations in the 3 countries, Somalia, Sudan and South Sudan, 6 anchor organizations in 3 countries, Ethiopia, Kenya and Uganda. I do not have it yet, so the picture you are seeing now is what is at this moment going on in the region. But next year, I promise to have an updated map with everything that we are doing in this regional program. What is important to stress, I think, is that we're doing this this together. And I would like to invite now one after the other, one project implementer, and you will see your sheet, and please please take the floor. I think the first sheet is from Royal Tropical Institute and Al-Zayem Al-Azhar University. So I really would like to invite you very shortly, within a few minutes, to explain where you see the opportunity for coordination and synergy.
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Shashaveta Singh from the Royal Tropical Institute. And I've been looking, it was interesting to get the project details. And I see that we are about the only project that is actually doing food and nutrition security directly in Sudan. So the only other projects working in Sudan are under the security and the rule of law. But I'm sure that there are some people who say that there is outreach to Sudan, Somalia, and so on. So I'm sure we can make some connections there. But in South Sudan, I see really possibilities because there's quite a few of us going to be working in South Sudan. And when I look at what everyone's going to do, I see there's also a lot of technological sort of inputs, seed systems, horticultural crops, and so on. And the project that we are doing is very much a process-oriented project, which is actually building community resilience at the bottom level. So I see that it's very complementary. So I think there's lots of possibilities there. And the second thing is that we are sort of embedded in a larger community of practice, which has been around for about 20 years. So it's one of those very informal communities of practice where people are invited to join. So I will be very interested to make contacts with the other projects and see how we could have the people sharing and learning from each other. And that is also what provides the sustainability for when we are finished with the project, that these things carry on. So I will be very interested in linking up with the other partners.
Thank you very much. That was very, very nice, and a nice invitation to the other partners. Thank you for that.
Yes, thank you. So thank you very much for hosting us. My name is Judith Rosenbrand, and I work for Crosswise Works. And Crosswise Works is going to be implementing a project in Somalia, or more specifically, actually Somaliland. And what we're going to do is to partner with Action Africa Help International. I believe my partner Gitaiga is also on the call, and also with War Sun Relief Organization based in Somalia. And what we'll do is we will be providing training to War Sun to implement an entrepreneurship curriculum, particularly in IDP camps, internally displaced people. So what they already serve as a relief organization is internally displaced people in these camps. And it's a very vulnerable community. And a lot of the time their livelihoods are very much dependent on the agricultural sector. And what we're hoping to achieve is to really build the capacity of War Sun to go beyond that basic relief services and train them as budding entrepreneurs. And that's also what the specialty is of Crosswise Works. We really do a lot of work in the area of entrepreneurship across Africa. And AHI has actually been doing quite a similar project on incubation, so also entrepreneurship training, in a refugee camp in Kenya. So we're really combining that knowledge of entrepreneurship development and training organizations to manage entrepreneurship programs together with AHI's expertise in actually doing this for very vulnerable communities who have very few securities in their lives. And that's what we're hoping to do. And I saw the list and I felt like we were a bit of the odd one out because we're not partnering with any universities. But in that sense, we are incredibly interested to learn more from the other parties who have won TMT projects and to understand more about how we could maybe link this up also with what the universities are doing, or share learnings about, I think especially on target group, reaching target groups and identifying the skills and learning methods that work for them. Thank you.
That sounds very interesting, and an invitation also to the other projects to link where possible. And of course, just to explain, the ICP projects are oriented towards strengthening educational capacity, but the tailor-made training and the tailor-made training plus not necessarily. And then in practice, you see a lot of training capacity being still a target of the TMT plus, but again, this is not mandatory. So it is interesting you noticed, and also the opportunity to link up with educational institutions. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then the next one is Sudan Urban Development Think Tank, together with ITC, University of Twente.
Yes, hi, Monica Kuffer from ITC. Our training project focuses very much on urban areas, which is maybe also another awkward as compared to many others, which I think are more on rural areas. But I think I see a lot of synergies, because what we are planning is the co-design of an integrated information system on deprived areas, with focusing on urban areas. We see that the cities typically are the engine of economic growth, but also in Sudan, we see a lot of the displaced people arriving to cities, coming into very deprived communities. And we are linking with our partners from Kenya, who have a lot of experiences working with deprived communities, also on issues of gender equality, of employment generation in the health sector, on also related to disaster management, to build like an integrated information system that benefits benefits the communication between deprived communities and the government, different government bodies, and really to support decision-making processes and cooperation between communities and local authorities. Thanks.
Thank you very much. And then the invitation to Tilburg University with East Africa University. It is the projects until now presented were Team T+ projects. So this is one of 2 ICP institutional collaboration projects.
Thank you very much, Jolie. This is Miriam speaking from Tilburg University, but our presentation will be done by the VC of KIU, which is our partner in this project. I'll hand over to the VC.
All right, thank you so much. Am I audible enough?
You are, sir.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, thank you so much. We are really delighted to be in this meeting, and pleased greatly after having had an opportunity as well to pay courtesy call at the NAFIC offices in The Hague last year. So this project is about improving resilience and access to employment and education, facilitated by e-learning and data sharing. What is very interesting is that we all know the effects of the COVID pandemic, and I'm sure all these other projects are really will be put in context of this problem. But our project with our partners that include, of course, East Africa University, Tilburg, and others, including Action Africa Help International, which I've also seen in another project, aims at equipping the youth and women who are really vulnerable. And we hope that as we work together in the same region, we'll definitely be able to share with other partnering projects that are being funded. One key thing is that we want to apply digital technologies to be able to equip our youth and women with the skills and with targeted training programs. Most of them really are on livelihood and improving their social security. And I've seen like the project of the Wagengen and other universities and other colleagues in the projects, they all have some component of training, some of them. And I think with our infrastructure, existing infrastructure, we'll be able to do a good job. So basically, we think the benefits are going to roll out to millions of people in Sudan, South Sudan, and Somalia. And we are so pleased that we are part of this successful project. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Vice Chancellor. That was very interesting, and I see a lot of opportunities to work together with the other projects. So I really hope that that will come about.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. This is Suzanne from MDF ASA in Kenya. First of all, I think it's a really great initiative to do this online and to really see what all the other projects are about. So thank you for that. I'm talking on behalf of Egerton University and the Juba University College of Natural Resources and Environmental Studies. We're very pleased that we won this project, and this is a real true South-South partnership. In fact, Egerton and Juba, they already had an MOU for many years, but they didn't really have a chance to have much funding to implement some of the very important activities. So this is really enhancing exchanges between the two colleges and the two universities. So there will be student internships and teacher exchange programs and internships, and a lot of focus on strengthening the curriculum, strengthening the linkages with the labor market in South Sudan. And and then for the COVID, because we are now doing a lot of the things online, so there will be a good focus on digitalization and everything to strengthen that actually very important curriculum at the Juba University. So thank you, Dr. Salah and his team. They are here as well. We are all here and very happy to be here and to hear more about the other projects. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Susan, and your team, and very welcome. Looking forward to collaborating, and I really hope this will come about with the other projects as well. The next is one of 4 linked sheets, 3 TMT Plus and 1 institutional collaboration project from the consortium Wageningen University, Van Hal Larenstein University of Applied Science, and Bahidar University as the anchor. And I would like to invite this team to present the 4 coming up sheets.
Yeah, good morning, Jolie, and all the others joining this this meeting. I'm talking here on behalf of all the partners putting together this particular TMT on horticulture, and the next slide is a TMT on seed systems, followed by another one, but then on fodder systems in Somaliland. Let me just quickly give a bit of background on this one, because then it will be more clearer to the other parties that already did their presentations, where we could potentially work together or tap into each other's communities of practice, or maybe also join up communities of practice. So this is one out of 2 interventions, TMT by Wageningen University, with a number of partners, and we work together with other northern institutions that have a track record on particular expertise. So we're working here with East-West Seed Knowledge Foundation in Wageningen Plant Research, together with the different partners, as you can see on this slide. It is about strengthening institutional capacities on horticulture and the ability of local knowledge institutes to develop their own courses and to make it blended courses, so to link theory with practice, with backup and support of knowledge and expertise from the agencies like East-West and Wageningen Plant Research. So we are really looking into the development of blended learning courses, quite interactive, linking with actual field experiences. So with regard to this initiative, we work within the environs of the NITI program, which is an established program in northwestern Ethiopia, working on horticulture with refugees and local host populations. And the foundation course will take place in this environment, based on which the different participants will be enabled to develop their own in-country courses. We link very closely to the Food Nutrition Security Resilience Program, and the focus of NFNS RAPRO in South Sudan is on seed systems, so horticulture, and as well as the next slide on TMT seed systems, they link directly with this RAPRO network. in South Sudan. And RAPRO is also having a community of practice that links together with the private sector, knowledge and educational institutions, NGOs, UN agencies. So we work quite closely with them to, let's say, pinpoint, position this particular tailor-made training. This tailor-made training, Juba University Yai Crop Training Center will play a very important role, linked with them other institutions in South Sudan, but also we invite participants from Somalia, Somaliland and Sudan to take part in this particular training course, and they will also benefit from backups of services to develop their own in-country trainings. Now, the linkage with the other institutions that the presentations before can be quite, well, we're quite open to working together. As said, I think the strength of our interventions is that we work quite closely with the RAPRO program, therefore also with the wider portfolio of programs of the Dutch embassies in the 3 countries. For example, Egerton University, very interesting. They work together with Juba University, with a team of Professor Sala. We also do that. So I think there could almost be a direct link. So to align interventions, make sure that there is no overlap of interventions, and maybe we could also sit together to see how we can create more synergies between the two interventions. But likewise, other interventions like the one by the Royal Tropical Institute, which is focusing on women and youth innovation. This is a particular important aspect of this TMT and the other TMTs that we have developed. Also the Tilburg University, resilience. Resilience is a very central component because the RAPRO focus is on building resilient food systems. So the TMTs that we have developed, including the institutional collaboration, very much focus on this topic, building more resilient food systems in these protracted crises contexts. Maybe you can show the next slide, Jolie. And maybe can I pass on to Astrid from Van Hal Larenstein, with whom we work quite closely together in the development of the TMTs. Astrid, so please.
Thanks, Gerrit-Jan. Good morning, everybody. I think it's still good morning in also other countries. Yeah, I think to add on, that is we developed a set of different projects with a clear linkage to each other. Similar principle when it comes to the TMT plus. In Somalia, in Somaliland, also our partner is the University of Burao, Dr. Essa. You've heard him already. And with an anchor at the University of Bahida. Here we look at fodder system arrangement management, and of course this goes beyond the technical issues we want to get across. Resilient food systems is one that is within this value chain, but of course we also would like to see, for example, a much higher inclusion of different groups of people when it comes to training. That is one of the things I think when I quickly read through the other projects and also listened to the other colleagues. That I think there's also quite something we can learn from each other. That is, how do we include the areas we are working in, protracted crisis, most of the cases. So how can we learn from each other in reaching the people we want to reach? That is because I think that's still a big question also when it comes to training. We're looking here as well into outreach beyond the University of Burao within Somaliland, but with a possibility also looking at Sudan and South Sudan, that where possible, where issues are similar, that we can learn from each other. Maybe a last remark in general. It is also about the way in the Netherlands, I think we have very much competence-based curricula. while we don't see that yet elsewhere. And that to make the link with the labor market, I think it's very important. We believe that looking at what competences are needed for the labor market, to have that included as well in curriculum development and in implementation. I think I would like to leave it here, Gerrit-Jan, because there's one more slide on the institutional collaboration.
I think you're muted, Gerrit-Jan.
Sorry, this goes much better. Thank you, Jolie. Yeah, I was just saying that I'm talking here on behalf of the different partners in this ICP initiative, and that I'm working with Wageningen University. My name is Gerrit-Jan van Uffelen. So the ICP, the Institutional Collaboration Project, is working with a number of partners across the Horn of Africa, and it's very firmly embedded within the Institute for Disaster Risk Management and Food Security Studies. And this is the anchor organization, and we work with institutions in Somalia, in particular Somaliland, the University of Hargeisa, and also with Juba University in South Sudan. So basically, the two main components of this initiative is the development of a regional master program on disaster risk management and food security studies, and a component that comprises out of 4 short courses for mid-career professionals. And the two are being linked together, which means that the courses for mid-career professionals are designed as standalone courses, yet are also linked or interlinked with the professional masters program, and together they form a joined up learning pathway. They also can tap into the TMTs that were awarded by NUFIC, so the TMTs on seed systems, on fodder, and on horticulture. Again, we are working with main institutions in South Sudan and in Somalia, and through them also with other institutions. So also from this perspective, we're quite open to collaboration with other initiatives. But this initiative is directly on strengthening the institutional capacities of the knowledge and research institutions. But it employs a blended learning approach, which also mean that that there is an attachment with projects and programs that are ongoing in the field. And these could be, well, for example, the TMTs that we were talking about. These could be existing programs, in particular the resilience program, and through the RAPRO program also is touching upon the wider communities of practice that are being established by the RAPRO program, including the meetings with different actors in South Sudan and in Somalia, UN agencies, NGOs, private sector, and other educational institutions. So very much open in working together, but as said, this is really focusing on the capacity building of these knowledge and research institutions. That's it, Julie.
Thank you very much, Gerrit-Jan. It's a very interesting program in itself, the 4 projects, and I see the integration that, as we said, could be improved, because of course those were for individual applications. You were not sure whether they would be approved, but now they are selected. Then I think they can be the integration can be even more, and I would really like to see. And I see also the opportunity for that, for well, reaching out to the other projects and taking advantage of this wealth of organizations that are working together. I think I have one final sheet of a tailor-made training project of ARES together with Red Sea University in Somalia. So please.
Good morning, this is Teus Korenvaart representing ERIS. Our focus is on training lecturers and trainers on poultry production and feed production. We will have 4 trainings in Ethiopia and 2 trainings in the Netherlands, where we have our own practical facilities, including a feed mill, where people will get the practical knowledge in feed production. Our trainings will be preceded by e-learning modules. So we will start with the e-learning and then carry on with the practical trainings. And talking about alignment, I would say it might be interesting to, well, investigate whether there's some alignment with the project of Van Gaal Ladenstein. I think that might be, yeah, worthwhile looking at. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Teus. And well, I'm sure Van Gaal Ladenstein and ERIS will be able to find each other, and it would be, I think it would be nice to have this collaboration, or even broader, if possible, in the field. I think this was the last sheet on the individual projects. I want to thank you very much, all of you. Maybe important to mention that I wanted to share all email addresses of all people that are involved in this meeting, but it is really complicated because of the European privacy laws. So what I will do instead is I will ask the project leads or the project teams of the 10 projects to indicate a contact person and explicitly consent to share this contact information. So you can all have at least one person you can approach of each project, and in that way it must be possible to find each other, and also the other people that are forming part of these projects. We are 5 minutes ahead of time, so I'm not sure whether you would like to have another break, or we just continue with the next point on the agenda. If there are no other comments or questions regarding integration. I see a hand of Chesna Betasina, so please go ahead, Chesna.
I had wanted to ask this before, because I don't know whether my question went in through the chat. I just want to know whether the ACFO is now up and running.
Thank you, Chesa. I think it's a good question, because ACFO is up and running, because it's an open tool for everyone. There are already projects up and running in ACFO RSR that are part of the Orange Knowledge program, but your project is not yet part of the ACFO system and is not yet up and running. So it is important to realize that we from NAFIC have to enter all details into the system, all basic data that was part of your application, and as soon as we are ready done that, we will give you every information, an invitation to enter the system, and then it will be open for you, and you can start updating photos and pictures and everything. But first we have quite some work to do, and we will let you know as soon as possible when we are ready. This might take like 2 months, also the summer holidays coming up, so please be patient with us, but we will let you know as soon as your project will be up and running. You can have a look, of course, at ACFO RSR and the Orange Knowledge community in this system, but your project is not yet there. So I hope this is clear.
Thanks very much. Yeah, fine. No worries. Just wanted to know, because on some other projects of NUFIC also we were told a while ago that it was on hold. and it was not yet ready. So that's why I wanted to know whether it was now ready. But your response is good for me. Thanks.
Yeah, I think the other projects were the smaller TMT projects.
Yeah.
That is quite complicated, but these ICP projects and TMT Plus projects will be inserted by NUFIC. So it will take. It is always difficult if I say it's Akvo RSR is real simple reporting, because it's quite demanding for us. But as soon as we are ready, we will let you know, and then the floor will be yours. So.
Right. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you for your question. And then I think this is like a nice question to go further into communication and visualization. So I hope we're a little bit early, but I hope Kim is ready.
Yes, of course I'm ready. Yes.
Great. Thank you, Kim.
So thank you, Julie. So first of all, thank you all for being here today. I see this as a really big opportunity, especially now during this crisis, that this is actually online, because often I would not be able to to take part in a kickoff. So thank you for making this possible. For communication, I have some very important points to make. Firstly, the reason why communication is important. We have to be visible for our funder, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and we have to show together with all of us what the Orange Knowledge Program is. In our communication, we often see that TMTs or ICPs, any projects, they often do some promotion on their channels, but somehow they forget to mention, for instance, Orange Knowledge or OKP or anything related to NUFIC or the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. That's the first dot you see on the PowerPoint. It's really important. Please do not forget to mention the program, because if you do any promotion but not mention the program, your promotion is mostly invisible to the ministry. And if we want to promote our program and ensure any future possibilities, we have to show our strength together. And that's only possible if everybody mentions the program. And it's even better if you also mention in the same message that it's funded by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and that NUFIC is managing it. That would be the ultimate situation. Furthermore, I would really like to mention that me, as well as my other colleagues, are completely free to help you with any questions you're having. Like before in other meetings I was able to join, I heard there was a lot of questions about which logos to use or which type of ideas we would have for banners or any promotion material, or you're looking for any standard text on the program. Please feel free to mail to okp@nufic.nl. I know it sounds like a very random mailbox, but the thing is, I will receive those mails and my own name will be complicated for you to to remember, I'm sure. But OKP, I will receive the mails and communication will pick it up and we will help you and assist you. Furthermore, I hope that you also receive this PowerPoint, so you can click on the link that I put at the bottom. That will bring you to a web page on our website, which is called Communication Guidelines. And there we have some tips, tricks, and you can download our logos, and we have some helpful instructions for you. But I feel that's a bit lengthy to all discuss now, but please feel free to go there or mail if you have any, if you need any help, just please feel free, contact us and don't hesitate to do so. And then last but not least, at the right bottom, I posted some links of our social media. This is where me and my colleagues are very active posting things about the programs. So please, if you would be active there as well, please make sure to tag us or share it or post it on our page so we are able to share it again, because we really love to see your results and to make the program more visual. So yeah, if you need any help or ideas or yeah, what do you want us to post? Again, please feel free to mail us. We're really here to help you. So that's my main point here. Please ask questions and don't forget to mention. So I see a question from Chesha. Is that on the communication?
I remember that we got some instructions regarding data protection and consent regarding visual material and so on.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, do we have to mention if we put up photos publicly that permission has been obtained from these people?
No, in the message that's not needed, but we just ask people in advance, like, if you're taking pictures, for instance, of students or people in the project, of course, we just ask you in advance, please make sure they agree with the picture. So we ourselves often have a really easy like consent letter, and if we are going somewhere and taking pictures, we ask people to sign that and we save it somewhere just in case.
Yeah, so that's only that consent letter, fine.
Yeah, so but you don't have to mention it in the message. We just trust the, yeah, you think about this matter because we do feel privacy is important. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's fine.
Perfect, thank you. And then Dr. Essa? I'm not sure. I feel Dr. Essa has raised his hand.
Maybe you are still on mute, Dr. Essa. To turn on your microphone again.
Okay. Okay. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah.
For your communication guidelines, is there a time frame for certain, for example, success stories or certain accumulation of pictures or videos? Is there a timeline within the project, or is it free that you report whenever you found these things?
Indeed, you're completely free to report. We don't have a timeline or specific obligations on how many times or what you should report, but just if you have anything interesting happening, specifically if there's something that's very visual, for instance, a meetup at a field work, or I heard before like at a feed mill, for instance, if that's very visual, if something visual is happening, then it's often very interesting. But no, we don't have specific rules about a timeline or what you should post.
Okay, get it.
Okay. Any other questions maybe on communication? Otherwise, I give the floor back to Jolie.
Thank you very much, Kim. Just maybe from my side to add to this, the importance of communication visualization has been stressed enough by Kim, and of course you have the different media you can use, and I would like to repeat the possibility and the opportunity of the project updates within Akvo RSR as soon as it is up and running for your project. And it will have the same if you are posting something on your Facebook site or on Twitter, then you can always post the same message on this project information site, and it would be really nice to have like a Horn of Africa Orange Knowledge regional program communication visible there. We will use, I'm not sure whether I'm repeating something Kim already said, but we will use, where possible, also your messages and your pictures for our communication and for our reporting, for example, to the ministry. So please make nice pictures and post them wherever you can. Thank you, Kim. If there aren't any other questions about communication, then I think we're really ahead of time. And well, of course, this was for us the first time to organize a kickoff with 10 projects, and we were not really sure how much time all the points at the agenda would take. So this we are approaching the end of the meeting. I had like the last 15 minutes for any other business. So please, if you have any questions, doubts, or you want to call towards your fellow project implementers, this is the time. Mohammed Mepesa, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much for this session. You actually guided us when we were presenting the individual projects, the summary, and how we need to sort of synergize with the other projects. Is there a particular guideline or framework that would enable us to actually realize that? Because as you can see, whereas we are all operating in the within the same context, the mechanism for us to ensure that we have that synergy and also work together with our colleagues doing different projects. So the question is, what is the mechanism, or is there any particular guide that we'll follow? Then my second comment is on the communication, and I thank that guidance for our communication. Some of us wanted actually to do a lot of publicity about winning these projects. So maybe a guide would be very good, simple guide on the do's and don'ts, because we may err in the process of celebrating and trying to publicize, give visibility to these projects, because it also works for us and also for NAFIC. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mohammed, for your two questions. To start with the second question on communication, we will send again a link to our web page for tips, tricks. So I think that is what you asked. There will be there are guidelines on how to publish on this this program, and of course you are free to communicate so however you like. But we have some guidelines, as Kim explained, and we will the link to this web page is in the agenda. So there are quite some links already in the agenda. It is in this presentation, and we will also send all the useful links. We will send it afterwards. But if you look at the agenda, you can already enter this communication webpage for the Orange Knowledge Program. And then your first question on mechanisms for coordination. It is something that from NAFIC is difficult to organize, because as Elzine explained, we are a bit distant from the project implementation, but we do whatever we can to provide a platform for coordination. So I think this kickoff meeting was the first effort we did in order to make possible that you can find each other. What we will do next, as I explained, is to share contact persons for each project that is being implemented in this regional program. I think the ACFO RSR tool will provide mechanisms in order to share and show activities and reach out to each other. Yeah, Mohammed?
Yeah. Thank you so much. Very clear.
Yeah, I don't think we can be more specific in mechanisms, but please be assured that we will do whatever we can. And if you have a specific question or you need something and you think we can help, please reach out to us. Thank you very much for your question.
I really appreciate the friendliness of the way you are doing the induction. And so this will make us to actually feel at ease and get back to NAFIC wherever there is clarification. I thank you so much.
Thank you very much. That was exactly the idea. Please reach out to us if you have any doubt. I saw a hand, but I don't see it anymore.
My hand was up. Is up.
Okay, please. I don't see it. Go ahead.
University of Applied Sciences. Just a pragmatic question. You just mentioned that we are entering in the Netherlands in the summer holidays. What is the availability of NAFIC now? I think most of us have to adjust our projects to the COVID-19 situation and may need approval. So, and of course, I assume that everybody would like to start as soon as possible, or has already started. But what is the plan there from NAFIC side? Because I do understand everybody needs a break as well, but also, of course, there is a need of continuation by the projects.
Definitely. Thank you for your question. And time is short, and I think that is that's an important thing to keep into mind. As long as our holiday planning is concerned, Elzine and I form a perfect team. So it's my pleasure to tell you that this is my last week, and then I will have 5 weeks of summer holiday, and Elzine will be there to attend to all your questions and doubts. And of course, there are enough colleagues at the office during the summer holidays if you have any questions.
Okay, that is fine. That is good to know that it is well arranged. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank Elzine.
Yeah, and maybe it's good to repeat that if you want to, in the light of the COVID pandemic, if you want to change any activities because of COVID, but you will still be able to achieve the outputs and outcomes, then you don't need approval from us. So as long as it's activity. As long as it's on an activity level, you don't need to contact us for approval. But if you do want to change, or if you feel like outputs may change, then you need to contact us. Or if you have any questions, of course, you can always contact us. But on the level of activities, you don't need approval from NAFIC.
No, that was all clear to me, or that is it falls within the grant obligations, of course. But still, sometimes it may be the case. Yeah, that is so. Therefore, the question.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you very much, Astrid and Elzine. I see another hand from ITC.
Hi, Monica from ITC. Maybe a bit of a follow-up question about the holiday planning and the problem to manage all this. Maybe you could give us a very quick overview of what are the key steps in terms of administration we should organize besides the content implementation, but that we have a good, let's say, an overview what we expected to come up in the next 2 months in principle.
Thank you. That is a good question, and I see a hand from Sophie, who is the TMT Plus or the TMT instrument manager. So maybe she can answer this question.
No, sorry. Actually, it was I wanted to come back on the question of switching between budget lines. So go ahead, Jolie, if you want to answer this one.
Okay, thank you, Sophie. I wanted to give you I wanted you to answer the question because I'm not really clear on the deadline that is in the grant letters for the TMT projects about the adaptation to the COVID situation. And I think there is no deadline because it is in principle, it is up to the projects. So please, Sophie, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think projects, the TMT Plus projects should should be implemented, adapted to the new situation where necessary, and go ahead without waiting for approval from our side, unless there are well, what we call big changes in the implementation, which means that part of the outputs and the outcomes that have been that are expected will not be achieved, and in that case you must inform us and also have a strategy of how to cope with this situation. But all other situation, and then taking into account, of course, the liberty within those budget lines, and Sophie will come back to that now. I think you don't need anything from us. So then, Monica, if you want to know next steps, then I think you go ahead, adapt where necessary, and implement your project and achieve your outputs and outcomes as planned. And we, in the meantime, being on holidays or not, will be making ready the ACFO RSR tool, and we will inform you. Well, I said like 2 months, so I think that must be possible. So that is a next step. And I'm not sure the first formal annual reporting will be in about a year. So that's in practice, when projects are running as planned, there is not much communication necessary or interaction necessary between NAFIC and the implementers. Sophie, maybe you want to add something to this.
Yes, thank you, Julie. It's correct. In the grant letter for the TMT Plus, we added a reference to COVID, and what we said in the grant letter is that we will try to increase the monitoring in the beginning of the project. We are thinking now to use a tool like SurveyMonkey, just to keep to have a good impression of you know, over the whole range of the many projects we lately granted, what's the influence of COVID. But like Jolie explained, take the freedom you have that is already given by the grant obligation and condition, and only in the cases where you have to make changes to outputs, then you contact us. And then I just come back very quickly, because in the meantime I consulted with my colleagues from the TMT team who have a lot more of experience than me about the switching between budget lines, and it's correct. So it's 25% of of one budget line, and then by doing so, because all the budget lines have a different amount, if you switch 25% to another, then it could be that adding up to the other, you make it results in a difference bigger than 25%. So then you have to look at what is coming in and going out of each line, and this should be less than 25%. So I hope this is clear, and I hope please tell me if I didn't answer your question correctly. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sophie. Well, I expect this is clear, and if it's not, then please let us know and we'll come back to that. I see a hand from Ms. Flavia.
Yes, thank you, Jolie. Just to add to what Monica asked, I don't know if Monica was mentioning that, but for me, for example, do we need to provide a consortium agreement? Because I think there was a pre-consortium agreement signed between partners, for example, and this kind of formalities and administrative work needs to be done in a certain timeline.
Can you answer this question, yes, Sophie? Because this is for TMT.
Well, for TMT, the whole summer, there will always be almost all the time 2% from the team present. So I don't expect for what you mentioned, receiving the signed agreements, consortium agreements, you will get a reply that, you know, there will be somebody behind the TMT mailbox the whole summer.
But my question is there a fixed timeline where we have to hand in these documents, or it's like flexible?
This I don't know. I don't know. I have to check what is said in the grant letter, and I have to check with my colleagues. I don't know by heart.
Yeah, I would say that if there is is that there is a condition or there's a deadline for submitting information, then this should be clearly stated in the grant letter. As far as I know, in general, there are no deadlines ahead.
Clear. Thank you.
Thank you for your question, Dr. Essa. Go ahead. And unmute your mic, please.
Hello?
Hi.
At what time your holiday days are starting?
No, it's really, there's always someone at the office. So our personal holidays are not that important.
Yeah.
I mentioned my holidays, but I shouldn't have done that because Elzine will be available, and as Sophie said, in the TeleMate team, there will always be enough people available in the communications department. I'm not sure for other countries, but in the Netherlands, holiday season is starting in July, August. So there might be people not available in Dutch organizations. But there will always be colleagues replacing them. So please do not worry. Please do not let the implementation of your project be hindered by us being on holidays, because we do not have the time. You have really limited time to implement your project, and please go ahead and don't worry about us.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you for your question. It was a good question.
Yeah, thanks.
Are there any other questions? Comments? Calls for help?
How's the situation of Corona in your place now?
In the Netherlands?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question, and I hope I can explain it briefly. So we had a first peak around March, April, and then it went back. And please don't ask for statistics, but now we're really doing quite well. So we had an intelligent lockdown, which meant that we could go out, but we were recommended to stay in. We are working from home, so there are some colleagues in the office, as now the peak has diminished. So now we are starting to go back to the office, but we are definitely not all working from the office, and many of us we still stay home in order to avoid public transport, and also to make possible at the office to have distant.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Any other comments?
Just on behalf of, I'm sure everybody has appreciated, but on behalf of all the projects, I really want to say a big thank you for the team that worked so hard to ensure that things are in good shape, and also congratulate my colleagues and the other partners. That I think the whole project's aim is to ensure things are done well and the beneficiaries get what they are entitled to, and then we are able to make a difference. So I've just taken the lead on behalf of my colleagues to say a big thank you to NAFIC.
Thank you very much, and thank you all for participating. I think it was a long session, but I really feel it was worthwhile, and I have learned a lot. I've not seen you all, but I felt you were all there, and that was really important, and I think it's a good start. I see a question from Tilburg University about the ICP projects, and Clara, I will be back to that, or I see that Elsine is answering it, and otherwise I will be back to the two ICP projects in order not to confuse the 8 tailor-made training projects, because this is very specific for the 2 ICP projects.
Jolie, if I may just say 2 words, Hashi here from the ministry.
Please go ahead, Hashi.
Yes, I would like to thank you, especially Jolie, for the efforts you did, you and your team, Sophie and also Elsine. Thank you very much for the work you're doing. But also I would like to thank all the participants and congratulate them for the grant they're getting and the hard work they're going to do. I wish them all the luck, and we were looking forward to see the results that they will be achieving. We trust them, and we are sure that they will be doing a very, very good job. Thank you very much for everything. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much, Hashi. It was so good to have you here with this group of projects implemented in what I would call your region, the Horn of Africa, and I really feel we can collaborate within the Orange Knowledge program between all the projects, but also in the wider program, the ministry programs that are being implemented in this region, and also other activities. I really I feel that it will be possible to achieve this integration and collaboration and exchange, and I thank you all very much for your participation, your active contributions, and I wish you good luck with the implementation of the projects. And we'll be back to you with a lot of information to repeating from this session. And if you have further questions, we already said it quite sometimes, please do not hesitate to contact us. I also would like to thank my colleagues very much, and all you implementers of projects. And last but not least, Hashi, it was so good to have someone from the ministry participating in this meeting, and we really feel part of a regional program. Thank you very much, and have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lee, and enjoy the
We
holidays.
appreciate it. Yeah, happy holidays.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
And then